Hey guys, and welcome back to part 2 of the Football Manager multiplayer recap that we're doing. That's what I'm going to name it. I've just decided that right there on the spot. We come back at the end of Season 2, and Season 2 was a big season, a weird season at that. So you're looking at the league table, and you will see that Reece won the league. It was big congratulations to him, but Man City absolutely bottled it. They bottled it bad. You see, I finished in 5th there, and Matt finished all the way down there in 10th. So, me and Matt both had Champions League football to look at. I realised I didn't show you any of that in the last episode, so we'll probably do a quick recap on that. Reece played Europa League. So, as you can see, Burnley, Middlesbrough and Forest went down. Chelsea and West Ham got top 7. I don't know if it will update just yet, but if we just have a quick look at... Alright, so we'll just have a quick scope at the Champions League groups. So, Matt got a bit of a group of death. So, he got PSG, Milan and Benfica, and as you can see, he finished on 3 points, losing to Benfica on the final game of the group to send him out of... Because he was actually above them. Sent him out completely. No Europa League football for him. I will tell you that we have played forwards and Liverpool did beat PSG in the final. So yeah, Matt had an absolute mare with the Champions League because he let his assistant pick his squad for the Champions League, and I'll put my hands up. His assistant absolutely screwed him and didn't register half the team. A lot of games he was playing with James Ward-Prowse at right back and Lucas Digne at left back because they just hadn't registered enough players. I got drawn in a group with Borussia Mönchengladbach, Porto and Crvena Zvezda. Won our group, didn't lose a game, was absolutely buzzing for it, and you can see the other groups there. So then if we go to the round of 16... I got drawn against Marseille. We won on penalties 2-2. It was not a great... We lost the first leg. We were having a bit of a crisis of form. And yeah, it didn't help. Quarterfinals, we drew Liverpool. And we absolutely bottled it. First leg, I'm pretty sure we had a sending off really early. And it just wasn't going well. And yeah, Liverpool then went on to win, which has massive implications for the league that I'll explain in a minute. In the Europa League, we go to the group stage. All groups. So, Reece got drawn in with Young Boys, Partizan, Hibernian. And he absolutely smashed it, losing to Young Boys. But I think it was the final game and it didn't actually matter. So then in the round of 16, he went on to play Ajax and won 5-0 on aggregate. He then went into the quarterfinals and played Villarreal and won 4-2 on aggregate. First leg, killed it off. Semi-finals, he beat Porto 8-2 on aggregate. And then, as you can see in the final, he won after extra time against Atalanta. So it was a Premier League and Europa League double for Reece. Also, I didn't show you the FA Cups, did I? So if we then just go to the FA Cup. So you're going to get a little bit of what happened last time. So, second season, we saw a Tottenham Man United final in which, let's just load it up, goals from Rodrigo Bentancur secured the win after being 1-0 down to an Evan goal. As you can see, we hung on and we did not deserve to win. But in a final, you take every win you can get. As you can see, our front three had awful games. But yeah, that gave us an FA Cup game win. Can I see? Oh, and the season before it had been won by Liverpool. Where did Matt get to in this? Semis? No. Quarters? No. Matt went out to Man City in the 5th round. In the Carabao Cup, Chelsea beat Liverpool 1-0 in the final. And as you can see, the season before, we had won it. We actually beat Arsenal in the final for the first trophy. So the first season, I was the only one who won a trophy. Second season, I won an FA Cup. Reece won a League and European Cup. Where did we all go out? So Reece went out 7-1 to Liverpool. And I went out pretty early. Did I go out before that? Did I go in the third round? Yeah, we lost 2-1 to Ipswich. But it was one of them. I was more worried about playing Champions League and the amount of games that we had. So if we just go to transfer history here. So we spent 157 million. So we bought in Pierluigi Galini. Hugo Lloris, I believe we'd loaned out at this point. We'd actually loaned him to Matt. We'd loaned Hugo Lloris to Matt. When we get to match transfers, we'll go through it. So we signed Galini. He was homegrown. So that was a big point for me. And at this point, I think we'd given up with Alex Murray. So I needed a homegrown backup goalkeeper. Galini ticked the box. So the Kulusevski deal was also triggered in that. We signed Isaac Johansson from FC Copenhagen for 8.5 million. And we signed Andreas Schelderup for 5. 2 players to come in. The idea was to loan him straight out, kind of get him that first team football. We then paid 40 million, rising to 56 for Ivan Toney to come in and give us something different to Kane. It was not good business. We signed Angelo for 17.5, another young player to come in. As I kept with that theme of I wanted young players to come in and really push us. So Angelo came in for 17.5. We signed Adam Hlozet from Bayern for 24 million. He coming in as a front, could play up front, could play on the left. And we signed Calvin Phillips on loan. He came in to just give us some support in that midfield, and we've already agreed deals for Kim Min-jae and Oscar Gluck. On the outs, we had Richarlison went to Leipzig for 27.5 million. He had a good first season for us. I'm pretty sure if we click on him, we can actually see how he did. So in the first season, he got double figures for us, and if you look, it was mainly substitute appearances. He got a lot of jammy goals that shouldn't have happened. So 27.5 million is not a great amount to bring in, but we got some money for him. We also sold Josip Sutalu to Juventus. He just couldn't get in the first team. When we look at the players, we'll go into why he couldn't. Reguilon went for 17.5 million to AC Milan. Lo Celso for the same to Wolves. Joe Rodon went to West Ham for 12.5, and then it was just a bunch of youngsters and a load of players out on loan. Pretty sure. So this was the tactic that we were using for the first season and a half, maybe 3 quarters. I won the league a few FMs ago with it, and this was the formation I went with. So the idea is that your back 5 and your anchor man defend, and they are your defensive facet, and then your Segunda Volante links up the defense and the attack, and then your attackers attack. Second season, we struggled. If we have a look at the schedule, you can see there was just, like this point period here, 1 win in 5. And there was too many games that we just couldn't do anything with. One thing I will do is we will go back to last season's schedule and I will show you the head-to-heads. So me and Reece drew 1-1 for our first game. I then lost 2-1 to Villa. Then me and Reece played in the Carabao Cup and I beat him. I beat Reece in the semi-final of the Carabao Cup. Then, where is it? I played him pretty late. I managed to beat Reece 4-1 with a hat-trick for Harry Kane and a Brian Gill goal. And then, where's the other Villa game? Oh, and I lost 3-1. So Matt had a horrible fucking habit of smashing me. My players just wouldn't turn up, so I was pretty livid about that. But I had a pretty good head-to-head record against Reece. And then Matt, it wasn't good. And then second season, it was... let's have a look. Man U and Villa. We drew 2-2 with Matt. A Thomas Lamar, 90+4. So this was a great game. So John McGinn scored just after half-time. And then I bought on a Hamzat Cargo, and he scored. And I was absolutely buzzing. And then Jacob Ramsey scored in the 89th minute. And I thought it was over. Everyone thought it was over. Matt's game crashed. And in the 90+4, Thomas Lemar scored an absolute screamer from the edge of the box. And then against Reece, we drew 1-1. Casemiro and Kulusevski getting the goals. Then we played Villa again, and a Hamzid Kargbo 90+ 3-minute goal secured a win against Matt. And he hated every second of it. And then final day, the FA Cup final, did I point out both games? 1-1 draw there. Oh, yeah, and the 2-1 loss there. Oh, I don't think I did that. Oh, yeah, Trent got sent off of 22 minutes in the early games in the season. So we had, if we go back to competitions, we had a very disappointing season. We got Europa League, and I was like, shit, like, that's not good for my job. The issue was with Liverpool winning the Champions League and Reece winning the Europa League, we got that spot. That spot was given to us. Us and Fiorentina both got given an extra spot because of it and because of the change in the way that it works. So we actually got a top. Oh, they gave us a Champions League spot. It was absolutely infuriating to lose to finish behind Arsenal. But if we now go to Man U, we'll start with his transfers. So Reece's transfers, he bought in Mariam Neto on a Bosman. Was a youngster. He kind of looked at him as a youngster. He brought in Marco Asensio on a Bosman. I looked at him because I found that he was available on a Bosman, and I was like, And then I was like, he doesn't really fit me, especially with a 4-2-3-1 we were playing. I didn't feel like he'd actually get much football. So re-signed him. Was a good season. He signed Philip's son from Darmstadt. And he signed Stefan Al-Sharari. Don't know why he did this. We all had this conversation. I was like, why have you signed him? And he was like, oh, at the end of the season, he was like, he did all right. He was just injured all the time. And it was like, but you knew that was going to happen. He signed Joe Bellingham for 4.2 million. He signed Yahur Yarmouk from Brentford for 45, rising to 77. He signed Danny Olmo for 34, rising to 92. He got Gravenberch on loan, did well for him. He signed Mannion to be the replacement for De Gea, who was a very good signing, and that cost him 33. He signed Jermaine Anderson for 10k, and Noni Modueke has just joined him for 39 million, rising to 100. On the outs, Ericsson joined Everton for 23, Lindelof to Atletico for 20, McTominay for 17.5, Maguire for 11.5, Bailly for 8.5, and Tellez for 7, and then some youngsters. So it was a good year for Reece. Just look at his schedule. Like, his end of season for, like, to be fair, his February on March really like set him up. If we then go, where's City? When did he play City? If we just have a look at City's schedule, they were comfortably top, and then this final 2 months absolutely destroyed them. A draw with Wolves, a draw with Liverpool, a loss to Newcastle, and then a loss and a draw to Chelsea and Notts Forest is really what gave Reece that chance to overtake. And then finally, if we just have a look at the transfers that Matt made, they're head-to-head. Reece won 3-2 with a... he was 3-1 up by half-time. Buendia got a consolation to make it more competitive, but it was one of them games where it was never competitive. And then at home, a 4-0 demolition of Matt really, really didn't help. If we have a look at Matt's schedule, we'll do transfers first. So Matt's transfers, so he bought in James Ward-Prowse for 16.5 million. He bought in Kevin Kelleher from Liverpool for 24.5 million. It was an awful signing. The guy was dreadful in game. He brought in Christian Mosquera on a free, Sharon Dor on a free, and Diego Almeida on a free. He spent 55, rising to 75 for Jonathan David. I can tell you that in season 3, he loaned Jonathan David to West Ham. He signed Zlatan Ibrahimovic. I think he did it because he wanted that, the big name in Europe. He then signed Hugo Lloris on loan. So Kelleher had performed so bad, and all he had was like a youngster as a backup. So I was like, take Hugo Lloris. Yes, he's not great, but like as a backup, he'll do wonders for you. In that time, I then offered Hugo Lloris a new contract as a coach, and he actually retired midway through the season. He signed Angel Gomez for 4.2 million, Album Lafont for 9.5, Raul Gustavo, who, by the way, this guy looked insane, for 6 million from the Brazilian league, and he signed Reece Nelson for 7 million. On the outs, Marvelous Nakamba, he got 22 million for, Danny Ings 10, Traore 9, Keenan Davis 4, got just under $1 million for Wesley, $500,000 for Robin Olsen. He loaned out João Pedro and Cagliardini. And he loaned Angel Gomez back. As I said in the first episode, his transfers are always questionable. If we look at his schedule, it was just he had a tough start. So here's one of the games where Martinez just didn't perform. He had a tough start. Then it's just, losing to Leeds, losing to Wolves, then got a win against Forest, then lost to Arsenal, drew with Everton. He just dropped too many points. His squad wasn't big enough or good enough to handle Champions League and still competing in the Premier League. He kind of turned it around a little bit at the end of the season, but it didn't really affect too much and left him in 10th. As you can see, Haaland is broken. So if we then just go... Okay, so if we just have a look at... We're just going to start on Man United. So if we just have a look... Top appearances were Evanilson, Varane and kind of Scalvini. They were key to how he played. Goals-wise, Evanilson got 37 goals. Asensio with 18, Ronaldo 18 and was retiring at the end of the season. Sancho chipped in with 17, Rashford with 17. The insane one was Varane chipped in with 14 and Scalvini chipped in with 8. He got so many goals from set pieces that that was a big part of him winning the league. They won him them games that he wouldn't have won otherwise. Assist-wise, Molina chipped in with 16, Asensio and Almo with 15, Rashford 14, Sancho 12, Caicedo chipped in with 10. You're getting assists there from the players you want to be getting good amounts of assists from, your wingers, your creative players. And then David De Gea got 11, Mike Maignan got 8 clean sheets. So defensively, he probably wasn't as good as he would want to be, but he did enough. Looking at Aston Villa, appearance-wise, James Ward-Prowse chipped in with 39, appeared 39 times, McAllister 34, Digne 34, Watkins came in with 33, and Singo with 31. Goals-wise, Alexis McAllister was his top goal scorer with 13, and Ollie Watkins with 12, and then after that you're looking at David got 9, and then you're looking at 4s and 3s and 2s. Matt's biggest problem is all the way... Bar the first season, and I'm giving you kind of spoilers for the next episode, his problem is having a goal scorer, and Ollie Watkins is that goal scorer, but he just doesn't trust him to play that role, and then he struggles to score goals. Assist-wise in his team, Singo chipped in with 7, Watkins with 6, Ward-Prowse with 6, Digne and Cash with 5, with Leon Bailey. He just wasn't creating enough, and a lot more teams were sitting deep against him, and he didn't know how to deal with that. Clean sheets-wise, Lafont got 9 and Kelleher got 5. 5 clean sheets in 20 games is not what you want from your goalkeeper. Average rating-wise, Lafont and Singo were the only real standouts for him. For Reece, average rating-wise, that's like a starting 11 of good average ratings. And then finally, if we go to Tottenham... So if we just have a look at us, Japhet Tanganga made 49 appearances. So now that I can show you this team, I'm going to kind of go through a few bits for me anyway. And if you want me to do it for, Man United and stuff, then let me know. Emerson Royal chipping in with 47. If we just hide not club players. Trubin 46, Kane 45. Goals-wise... Kane finished with 23 goals, Adam Hlozic 12, Marcus Thuram 11, and Heung-min Son on 10. Ivan Toney got 9 goals in all competitions, which isn't bad, but some of them were cup games and stuff. Assist-wise, Heung-min Son with 17 assists, Thomas Lamar with 11, and Marcus Thuram with 10. Average rating-wise, Marcus Thuram was our standout player, followed by Son. Lamar, who, a lot of appearances off the bench. And Basuma did well. Emerson Royal, Troop, and Trubin all doing well. So, as you can see, our squad is a bit of a mess here. There's a lot of players there. Japhet Tanganga, and I don't know what it is. If you look at his, it doesn't have the best overall rating, but that's because he has a few off games, and I'll be the first to say that he does have a lot. He'll have throughout the season, he'll have a few off games that drag his rating down. But this guy, every time I look at the Premier League stats, he's always in and around the top players for interceptions, for headers won, for tackles. Like, he's really good on the game for me. Better than he should be, and it's part of the reason why, Sutalo went, was because he just couldn't get in the team. Him and Romero formed a fantastic partnership, and it says a lot when Japhet Tanganga is worth 52 to 62 million. Like, even I'm aware that that's insane. Like, he's up there. Well, he's not. If you look at it, like, some of our players have got quite insane valuations, but he has just been so good for me, and it absolutely devastates me that we've sold him in real life. Oliver Skip, on the other hand, has not done as well. Although his average rating is probably about the same, he just lacks. In the midfield we were playing, he was probably a little bit too small to be the anchor man, and was probably not good enough on the ball to be the Segunda Volante, which is what we were playing him as. If we just go there, stats wise, he's okay, but I think a big part was his lack of flair. He just couldn't create anything. But other than that, we did pretty. It was an off season for us, and it actually, towards the end of the season, we then changed formation and made a big conscious effort to what's it. Hamza Carbo chipped in with 8 Premier League goals this season in 17 appearances, 2 of which were against Matt. I'm pretty sure he got a winner in the London derby against Arsenal. We loved Hamza Carbo. His stats are absolutely appalling, and they keep trying. He plays a lot for the under-21s, and they keep playing him at centre-back in the under-21s, and he'll score. Like, there was a game, I think we played Chelsea in the under-21s, and he literally scored a hat-trick from centre-back. So it might be a case of, to be fair, it's not. He can't mark, he can't tackle, like, he lacks the aggression. But he scores us important goals when we need it, and we relied on him a bit too much, because I'm pretty sure most of his 8 goals in the league were like critical goals to salvage us a point. But yeah, I think that's where we end it. Oh, one more player of the year. I did show this last year. Best player in Europe. So, we haven't had the second one. Last season, Harry Kane won Player of the Year. None of us understand it. Like, we don't understand how it works. But Harry Kane got Best Player in Europe with 45 goals in 45 games and 6 assists. The Robot got 55 in 56 and 10 assists, so we don't know how that worked. But Harry Kane did win the Ballon d'Or. Golden Boy was Gavi, and Golden Shoe also went to Kane. But Player of the Year in England went to Haaland. But I think that is where we're going to end it. The next one is... The next episode will be the end of Season 3, which we're currently 3/4 of the way through, and it has been a humdinger of an episode. It'll be a humdinger of an episode. So if you've enjoyed this episode, please make sure you smash that like button down below. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button, where, we're going to have a big year on FM24, and all the highlights of streams, and that will be uploaded to this channel. I have been Justin. Thank you very much. And you have had just enough.